yeah, here's my question, David. How many different types of cuisine have you actually tasted in your life? And which one do
If
you
I'm
think,
going specific by country, the worst?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like the most like atrocious.
That's wow.
And that might just be subjective.
I'm gonna say Canadian. Okay. Then we're back at it again.
We live?
Live, baby.
We're live.
What's going on? Will's the cameraman in the building. Randall in the building. Back with another episode of the Unpopular podcast. We are at the Bridgewater Commons Mall.
First time we've actually been out to the mall in years.
Where's
My
Bond?
dumbass. I haven't been to the mall since I was like 17.
I refuse to be outside today because it's hot like ass.
It's fucking hot like Africa, bro.
Hot like Africa.
And then on top of that, my dumbass just ate a fucking spicy jalapeno burger.
Yeah, you doubled down on the hot. I don't know why you did that. I don't know why you did that.
Nigga, that's a fucking Spanish shit in me, bro. Like, I'm so used to eating spicy food.
It's gonna be hot coming out too later. Where's Bond?
I don't think I need to hear that. But you know what's crazy, David? Like, shockingly enough, like, I don't know why people have that problem. I don't
like handling spice.
Yeah, like handling spice.
It's
like
a
their
tolerance.
stomach just like
it's a tolerance. Like you were just saying before, it's literally a poison. So you gotta build up your chemical. You gotta build up your tolerance to being able to withstand it. Like I know my niece is not tolerating any spicy. Like I think I gave her like a taquito the other day, like a chicken and cheese taquito that might have had like some pepper jack cheese in it or something.
Shit, bro.
It wasn't shit, but it was spicy to her. And I was like, "This ain't spicy." She was like, "Well, not to you." And I'm like,
"How old is she?"
She's 6.5.
Well, that's different, David. She's only 6.
That's what I'm saying.
She got no taste buds.
You have to develop your taste buds. I mean, I know there's certain kids that like spicy stuff or whatever. True. Like I know, like she's not afraid. Like I don't know how the taquito was not spicy for her, but she'll fuck around and eat Takis.
No, I disagree. Takis are not even that bad.
Takis are in the same realm of spicy as that taquito was, maybe even hotter.
It might be.
She'll enjoy those.
It's either that or I'm just really not that bothered by spice for some reason. Like, dude, it's gotta be some fucking Spanish shit. Because like my family puts hot sauce on everything. Dude, my dad.
I'm telling you, that pepper sauce, that Scotch bonnet, and it was no joke.
David, I literally put like mango habanero hot sauce like on my fucking eggs this morning. Like I'm not bothered by this shit. It doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I actually wanted more.
Mango habanero is a dangerous combination, man. Habanero is not to be fucked with, yo. Habanero is a serious pepper.
Yeah, but dude, my mom cooks with it though. Like, dude,
I know we cook with the Scotch bonnet, bro. I'm not I'm scared of that.
My mom will literally cook like a pot of rice, and she'll throw a whole like Scotch bonnet or habanero in there and let it boil in the water.
I know. They do the same thing about it. I don't know what's wrong with these people.
David, it's a fucking Caribbean and Spanish thing.
It adds flavor. I get it, but
like we're so used to it. But speaking of spice tolerance, here's a fun fact. Did you know that apparently people who can tolerate stronger spice actually have higher levels of circulating testosterone? It's a proven fact. If you can tolerate stronger spice, you actually have higher testosterone levels than other people.
So you like put some hair on your chest.
I guess you could call it that, but yeah, like I didn't know that apparently. You know what I mean? Like apparently,
interesting.
That's what that means.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Which makes sense, like within the Spanish community and shit like that. Like, but like, fucking Europeans, like they can't handle their spice, bro.
No, they can't. That's why all their food is bland.
Right. You know
exactly why all their food is bland. I ain't worried about it.
What countries do you think actually have the most like spicy foods for the most part? Because I know African countries do. I know Hispanic countries do. The Middle East apparently has a lot of spices.
The Middle East has a lot of spices there. Yeah, I would say places like Morocco.
Yeah, Morocco.
Yeah, literally, I was gonna say like places like Morocco.
Morocco is one of them.
Like Thailand has a lot of spice there too.
That's more the Asian part of the world. But no. Thailand actually is more bitter than spicy.
Well, I know they use a lot of chili oil.
Right.
You use a lot of chili oil. Trying to think of another place that has like spicy food.
I think even Turkey has like relatively spicy food.
Yeah. I mean, I'm considering that Middle East. Cause like,
wait, Turkey's Middle East? Yeah.
I would consider that like Middle East.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause like, but it's a fine line. Cause once you get to like Mediterranean flavors, the spice is gone. They don't really do spicy over
Greek food is not spicy.
Greek food not spicy.
Not completely though. Sometimes it is. It depends on like what
not from what I've known Greek food to be. I don't know. I don't think it's spicy.
Not at all.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I need to eat a little bit more Greek food. But I never knew it to be spicy. So
here's a question: is baklava Greek or is it another country?
Baklava.
Because I heard apparently it's Greek.
Baklava. I don't know if it's Greek. I think that might just be like a Mediterranean thing. Mediterranean, like a Middle East thing, because I think it comes from Jewish culture, if I'm not mistaken.
And then second question,
because I think baklava is a Hebrew word.
And then second question is, what the hell is it? Because I look at it, it looks like pastry with like some green stuff in it.
Yeah, it's
because it looks good though. I just don't know what the hell's in it.
It's flaky. There's a place on Division Street called Moe's Grill that has Mediterranean food and stuff like that.
The Greek restaurant right on Division Street, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They have baklava on their menu, and it tells me all the ingredients. I just forget what it looks like now, but it's like a layer of flaky pastry, and it's soaked in a syrup with like, I want to say it's like pine nuts or like maybe pistachios that are in there.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay. Now, is it a dessert or is it like
it's a dessert.
Oh, it's a dessert.
It's a dessert. Yeah. Baklava is a dessert.
And yo, Davey, you want to know what's crazy, Davey? So like my coworker, who I fucking hate.
Mm-hmm.
We're
about to get that nigga on the podcast.
No, fuck that. Anyway, so he went to Spain, and he said apparently that like he had churros with some chocolate sauce over there in Spain for dessert, and he said apparently it was trash.
Yeah, what?
It's like churros with a chocolate dipping sauce, and apparently it was trash.
I never see.
But my manager came in and heard him say that, and he raised the argument. It's because we as Americans, we're so used to like highly processed sugary food that like anything that's like mildly sweet in other countries tastes bitter to us. It's like because our taste buds are so fucked up in this country.
Yeah, we want the immense amount of sugar.
Yeah.
I'm not too fond of chocolate mixed with a churro.
No, you've never had churros with Nutella or something?
No.
Really?
I just favor.
Oh, you're missing out.
No, really?
You're missing out, bro.
I'm not a fan of Nutella anyway. Really.
Oh, all right. Then that's just a you thing.
I'm not a fan of Nutella anyway.
Bro, I'm a churro and
Nutella. I know Nutella is hazelnut spread. So like, I'm a chocolate fan, and I will not be susceptible to enjoying Nutella because I know it's not real chocolate.
It's not full chocolate.
It's not full chocolate, so I'm not gonna. I can't be convinced. You
feel like you're being fucking cheated or something?
Yeah, I am being cheated out of the taste of chocolate. Like,
chocolate?
You're just giving me hazelnut with a little bit of cocoa. Like, I'm not. You won't fool me. Like,
it's just a recipe.
You won't pull the wool over my eyes. But
but David.
But I don't like I like churros regular as they are. Like, churros don't need to be filled with nothing.
You know what's crazy, David? That's also because you're a no sauce nigga.
I don't like.
You don't like sauce.
Condiments.
Like that's why you're weird like that, bro.
Are extra, bro. I think condiments are messy. Condiments are really messy. Like, you ever go to like McDonald's and go by like where they keep the ketchup, bro? That shit's always fucking nasty.
Yeah, David, that's just because niggas are nasty.
I know.
David, that's not the ketchup's fault.
That doesn't make it any worse.
Niggas are just nasty, David.
This is how y'all take care of y'all ketchup.
David, it's not them. It's the people that are fucking it up.
That's how they take care of their stuff, yo.
Shit, bro.
That's how they take care of their stuff. You can't
David,
even you can't keep condiments controlled. Like,
David, you low-key offended me, David, that one time we went to Wendy's and you ordered fucking nuggets and shit, and you wanted no sauce. I'm like, bro, like, is your mouth not gonna be this hard, does it, my nigga? Like, what?
I've become more accustomed to barbecue sauce.
Right.
It's I can do that with my nuggets.
What's your reason for not liking sauce? Like, were you traumatized as a kid with like sauce?
I was.
Wait, what?
I was. I definitely was. I definitely was. They used to chase me around the house with ketchup, yo. I'm not lying. Not lying, yo.
You got chased around the house with ketchup.
Cross my heart, swear to live, hope to live another day. They used to chase me around the house with ketchup, yo.
So what's your beef with other sauces, though?
My beef with mustard is we used to be terrible as kids. We used to be terrible to each other as kids. We used to we used to stay up all night, right? And then, in addition to us staying up all night, we say like, whoever falls asleep first is getting pranked.
That's
you
why.
You don't know how many.
So you grew up in that kind of house.
I grew up in this kind of house, yeah. So you don't know how many times I've woken up with mustard on my face.
All right, so you don't like ketchup because you got cheese with a bottle with it. You don't like mustard because it ends.
No, not a bottle. They used to put it on their hands and freaking like, bro.
Yo, you have some badass kids.
My sister did it to me. Yo.
Your sister did it to you?
My sister did it to me, yo. And my uncle. Yo,
Your
they used to put it on their hands and yo.
Let me guess, it was a way to like fucking mimic blood or some shit like that?
Nah, I don't know if it was mimicking blood. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the smell. The smell didn't appetize me at all.
Yeah.
Like, so I was just completely turned off. I didn't want it touching me or my food. And they did not give a shit.
Yo, apparently there's a thing called gourmet ketchup.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Gourmet ketchup is a thing.
You can make
But how do you do that? How do you do that though?
You got to make it from scratch.
Well, yeah, I know
you
that.
Make
but
it from scratch.
Like, what makes it gourmet though? Like people throw that word around all the time. Like, fuck.
Well, the fact that you're making it from scratch and you're probably using less ingredients that aren't processed.
Mm-hmm.
That's what probably makes it gourmet.
Fair enough.
Because ketchup that we buy in the bottle is processed to hell. And there's way too much sugar in it.
Right.
So yeah, you're probably when you're making ketchup at home from scratch and it's gourmet, it probably has more tang to it than sweet.
Now I would argue or ask you a question. Is another reason why you don't like sauce is because like when it gets dry, like it kind of like has a leather like cover on it.
That is another thing that upsets me about sauce. I don't talk about that enough, but like for sauce to dry up and get a film on it, like that's nasty. That's freaking gross, man.
Oh my god,
that's freaking gross. Like I don't like.
It bothers you.
Like, yeah, I never wanted like mayo on my sandwich. Like, I get it now that it adds a little bit of tang and flavor, but like that never did nothing for me. Like, I was eating dry bologna and cheese, bro. Like, nothing was stopping me, son. Nothing was stopping me. I wasn't putting nothing on the hot dog. No relish, no mustard, no.
Your relish is more of a topping, though. It's not really a sauce.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
A condiment. We still talk about.
No sauerkraut. None of that shit.
Nah. I don't even want sauerkraut and like bratwurst. I'll slide the bratwurst. No. I'll slide the sauerkraut to the side. And eat the bratwurst.
First of all, who the hell eats bratwurst?
Germans.
Their cuisine is atrocious.
German cuisine is alright.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it isn't.
It is. Yeah,
David, I've seen their cuisine and I've eaten some of it. David, it's not right. David.
It's not the most flavorful, but I can fuck with a piece of schnitzel.
All right, that's one thing, David.
I can fuck with a piece
my
of
question
schnitzel.
is, David, why do the Germans, like, for example, like have like bratwurst, sauerkraut, and like schnitzel with like applesauce or some shit like that? Like,
I'm not gonna lie.
Don't tell me.
I'm not gonna freaking lie, yo.
Don't you dare.
That shit is good.
Yo, you're
not
bugging.
I'm not gonna cap.
Are you
that shit is freaking good. I think
serious?
I think I've had that combination before, and that shit was actually really good.
Oh my god!
Hell yeah! No cap. No cap. It's something about the flavors. It's something about the sweetness from the applesauce that that adds to like the acidity of the sauerkraut. With the hardiness of the bratwurst. It's an interesting combination. I wouldn't have expected it myself.
Fair enough. Because my job like has done a number of German specials like for like Oktoberfest. But the thing is, they do it right though. They've made like bratwurst bites, like deep fried and stuff like that. They've made chicken schnitzel. They've made there's some kind of a beef dish. I think it's stroganoff. Beef stroganoff.
Beef stroganoff.
Yeah, that shit is fire.
I know beef stroganoff was German.
Apparently it is.
Or
it's like related to
somewhere over there. Like I would have said Bavarian if I would have said
that food is not bad. Those things are good. But like some of the things I've seen and some of the things I've tasted, they're like real like classic German food. Like it just ain't it, bro.
It's not the most flavorful of the most seasoned thing I've ever. Like there's definitely better countries to go to if you're going for cuisine. Like you're most likely. I would most likely only go to Germany or something like that to experience like Oktoberfest.
Right.
And that's more for the beer than the food.
Which for me, I have no purpose to go because like I don't drink.
More purposely for the beer than the food.
Okay,
like they got good beer over there in Europe.
So here's my opinion, David.
We import a lot of beer.
Yeah, here's my question, David. How many different types of cuisine have you actually tasted in your life? And which one?
If I'm going specific by country, which the worst?
Yeah, like the most like atrocious.
That's like wow.
And that might just be
subjective. I'm gonna say Canadian.
Canadian food.
Yeah.
It's bad?
Food. I don't like that poutine shit. I mean, it might be unpopular or not, but poutine is fucking nasty.
Now, what is
have you ever heard of disco fries?
We had that in my job.
That's what poutine is.
It's disco fries. So I know it's fries with gravy, right?
Fries and gravy and probably cheese curds on there.
David, I disagree with you, David. It's not actually that bad because we had it at my job, and the thing is, I guess it's our gravy. We made it differently.
So
that might be what it is. Like
I've tried. I think like loaded fries is just not my thing, and I think gravy just doesn't belong there. And that's the main thing about poutine is that it has gravy and that it has the cheese curds on it.
Is gravy a sauce that offends you too?
No, gravy is fine. It just belongs in certain places. Like it doesn't belong on fries. Like you should probably eat gravy with mashed potatoes or turkey like a regular burger.
Does chili belong on fries?
Does chili belong on fries? It could. I think what bothers me about loaded fries and stuff like that is like I prefer my fries to be crispy. So I don't like soggy fries.
Okay, all right, that's reasonable. I can't like
soggy fries. Like I think it's one thing if you like melted cheese on them. Right. Cheese fries are good. Maybe top it with bacon. Bacon cheese fries.
Like me working in a restaurant, David, like that sogginess from the fries when they're loaded, something like that. That's just a matter of the fries, like sitting in a damn window to damn long.
I mean, depending on how long they come out of the fryer. But I'm talking about when you load them up with stuff, and now all the liquid from what you loaded it on with it has now seeped into the fries, and now it's soggy from that, not from sitting, from the gravy.
You see, like I've never had that experience though. Like all the fries I've had, even when they're loaded or they're like poutine or whatever like that, it's not soggy like that. Maybe that's just me. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's a different experience. But yeah, I would say Canadian food is probably the worst.
Is it seasoned or not?
No, they ain't no better than any of the white person and not seasoning stuff. Like their Canadian bacon is just ham.
Ain't no adobo seasoning, ain't no none of that shit.
What? Adobo in Canada? You bugging? Like the most they got, I would say, is maybe some kind of culture that comes from like Quebec or like Montreal. Because that's French culture. That's more suited to French culture.
Right.
But yeah, no, Canadians don't got nothing on their menu that's making me go.
Nah, shock.
No,
it is.
But they're probably. I think they do a lot of their. I know their McDonald's has a different menu.
That's true of every McDonald's in the world.
I know their McDonald's has a different menu.
You want to know where I actually want to go try McDonald's? I want to go to Japan and do that.
Yeah, I would like to go to Japan and try a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
The KFC in Jamaica is no joke, yo.
It's not?
It's not. That shit is for real.
It's like fire?
That shit is good, yo. It is good. It's the chickens, man. It's the chickens. I'm sure
they're free to roam.
I'm sure the chicken in KFC and other countries tastes amazing.
Right.
In America, that shit is not it.
It's trash.
It's not it.
Because our chickens are not.
Our chickens are not it, bro. Our chickens are not it, bro. Like they're not normal.
Well, David, that's also true of just like American food in general. Like that's the reason why Americans are so sick because like all of our food is hella processed. It's not grown correctly, and it's just owned by
antibiotics added to everything.
Yeah. All kinds of additives and all kinds of chemicals.
You know how much water they be putting into the meat?
Yeah.
To make it look like the way it do.
The food industry is literally owned by cigarette companies. And they're in the business of just making you addicted. You didn't know that?
The food companies are owned by the cigarette companies?
Most of them back in the 90s. The cigarette companies. Is
that still the same case now?
I think for the most part, yeah, it's changed because like local farmers and local companies are like growing their own stuff, but like the mainstream food supply is still owned by the cigarette companies.
That's fucking crazy.
And so they're in the business of getting you addicted to the shit. So all the additives that are in their cigarettes, the same food, it's the same chemicals that are added in our food. That's why we're hooked to the shit. That's why we can't stop eating it.
Yeah.
Which is why, like I told you in the car, for example, like when I changed my diet and I started eating more whole foods, processed food now, to a certain degree, tastes disgusting to me.
Yeah, you gotta
I actually can't eat it.
You gotta be careful when it comes to. It actually
low-key kind of bothers me when I eat processed food now.
Careful when it comes to even like fries nowadays, because like McDonald's cooks their shit in beef. It has the shit in beef fat.
No, they don't.
They don't cook it in beef fat, but they add beef fat to it. They add like beef flavoring.
Beef tallow?
Yeah, they add like beef tallow.
I don't think they do that here.
Yeah.
Not in America. In
Australia, they don't cook it in the. I'm saying they don't cook it in the. That's not in the fryer that they cook it in. It's like added to it in the bag in the freezer, waiting to get.
It's the cheap beef flavor.
Basically. Yeah. They add that to the fries
because apparently the McDonald's in Australia, it's literally just like organic fries, beef tallow, and I think that's
different countries got different ways of processing their food. Where it's going and different.
David, it's not even a matter of
and different restrictions for health. And stuff
it's not even a matter of processing it differently, David. Like they just don't want to poison their people. Like that's all it is. They don't want you hooked to the shit. Ain't got nothing to do with like, oh, we just do it differently here. No, you just don't want to poison your fucking community.
Well, that's good. I think other countries for having that consideration for us. You know.
Well, they don't. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, not Americans. Talk about the other countries.
Americans don't.
Thank you, other countries, for having your McDonald's be right
and not serve fucking poison
and not trying to kill me. Yeah, where does one?
Or at least not get you addicted to this shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's good. Because that's part of the problem as well. But what are you guys talking about? So David, you were talking about in the car. You wanted to like have us talk about two different like extremely unpopular opinions.
Yes, okay. Yes. I was watching this damn video about this white lady, and she's just talking about absolute nonsense. And she's not afraid to voice her opinion on who it upsets, even if she's talking to one singular person. And I was like, this happens every day of somebody saying something outrageous and creating discord. And the discord, discourse, not discord. We should get a Discord. Creating discourse, and then it gets out of control, and they just move on to the next thing. So I was like, yeah, no, like literally, like there's no reason for us not to be voicing the shit that is literally going to be triggering for people, because people say shit that every day. People say bullshit every day and don't care how it affects people who hear it. So, lay it on them.
Go ahead. You had the idea first.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Man.
You had the idea first.
I'll tell you. If I were to think of my most controversial thought today, I would say that America doesn't want to be great.
You said what?
America doesn't want to be great.
Well, corporations don't want America to be great.
America doesn't want to be great.
Okay, why do you
say
that?
Not the corporations, not the orange asshole in charge, not the people who wear the hat that says they want it to be great, not even the people who don't support the hat and don't want it to be great. I think we are too comfortable in our bullshit to want to change and progress anywhere. I think we're just gonna fall deeper into our habits and our vices and our addictions, and we're not really gonna facilitate too much change. I would say that's probably realistic for the next 35 years.
So, oh wow! So you really think America basically is just down the toilet? For sure.
Yeah, for the next 35 years, I think unless something dramatic happens or drastic happens, that we're going to continue to recess for the next 35 years.
Why specifically 35 years? That's kind of a specific number.
It is a very specific number. I don't know why I said 35 years. I think in 35 years, if something hasn't dramatically happened to change the state of how people feel, about wanting to do better, something will happen.
See, I can agree with you on that, Davian, but I actually think it's a lot sooner.
Yeah, it could be.
I actually think that right now in America, I think we officially.
I'm giving them 35 years.
But that's what I'm saying, though, David. I don't agree with that. I think that the tipping point and the change that's going to happen, I think is going to happen within the next 5 years. Actually,
it could.
Shockingly enough, the culture that we're living in right now is the way that it is because I think we're both kind of a idealist but hopeless sort of state where people want change but they don't want to take action to make change.
We have what was I about to say? It's like I think we I'm losing it. But it was on the lines of like it's like we know what we could have an idea of what we wanted better to look like, type of thing. But it's like realistically of trying to get everybody on the same page of that is not going to happen.
Right. And that goes back to what we were talking about before, where the idea that like an ideal America oftentimes can be very controversial and subjective because we are a very ethnically diverse country that's mixing of different religions, ethnicities, cultures, ways of life. So the problem with that is it can be very hard for all of us to have one collective narrative because number one, we're too big of a country, and also because we have too many different outlets to express ourselves. So America is free when it comes to freedom of expression and being able to say and do what you want for the most part in some cases. But at the same time, one of the problems of that actual freedom is that it can push back against a collective narrative that everyone believes in. Because if you think about it, Davian, a lot of people in America don't believe in the most basic things, like even wanting to give people universal health care.
I think it's very much like the path towards rewriting certain wrongs or trying to change the course of our future isn't a hard thing to grasp. It's not hard. It wouldn't be such a hard turnaround. But I think we'd rather just continue to divulge into madness
and just live in denial of it.
Yes,
because unfortunately, the thing about history and rereading it is that history can cause people to have two different reactions. People can either say, this was disgusting and what we did back then was wrong and we don't want that to happen again, so we're gonna prevent that. Or people can read history and be like, I'm disgusted at what history happened and I'm going to suppress it and hide it in a box because I don't want to hear about it. You know what I mean? And that's what we've been doing realistically for almost the entirety of our history.
It shows in the differences the way that schools here and in other countries teach you about wars.
Right.
Where does Vaughn?
Who was the perpetrator? Who was the target?
German kids in school nowadays will learn the truth about World War II and the Holocaust to know not to repeat it. American schools will teach you their history about the Civil War and omit facts to make one side look better than the other.
Right. But that is often not a byproduct of the differences in groups where one group is still living here that was fighting for one side, but then the other group was fighting for the exact opposite. So the real question you can ask yourself is, which group do you really align yourself with? So for example, the Confederates versus the Union, right? There are people in this country right now that side with the Confederates and vice versa with the Union. So the question you can ask yourself is, which narrative do we identify with? Because you could say obviously the Union because they were trying to do something good, but then the Confederates, what about them? And do we just disregard how they feel? Because then people will say oh no, we need to just discredit them and get rid of how they think or whatever it is. So the question is, what do we do with them?
I did hear an interesting line the other day from, of all people, Ben Shapiro.
You said that with a little bit of resistance.
Of all people, Ben Shapiro.
Full disclosure, I don't like that guy anyway.
No, Ben Shapiro. He's interesting in the way that he speaks, and he's not afraid to say things that are controversial.
But he's also a grown ass man that sounds like he's 12.
That's true. But he does back everything he says with some type of supporting knowledge.
To some degree.
On some degree.
Topics.
I think the topic he was talking about specifically was about reparations. He said he was against it. The one guy who was up asking the question was describing it to look in different ways than just paying people money, as in reinvesting certain money in certain budgets into infrastructure and stuff like that. Now, the one point that Ben was making that I wanted to highlight now was about the fact that the Civil War was a very long time ago, and the point that he was making was individuals who weren't like no one who's here now was directly a slave or a slave owner type of thing. So it's hard. It doesn't necessarily make sense to either punish or reward individuals who weren't the ones who were directly affected.
Well, that then goes into the conversation about whether or not historical implications have long-lasting effects.
That, I mean, I can definitely agree that they do. I guess the point that I was trying to make when it comes to the sides thing, choosing your side or whatever, it's like that has to do with like history repeating itself. Like clearly, if you're deciding on which side you want to be on, whether you align more with the side that was Confederate or align more with the Union side, you're still fighting over an argument that was solved over 100 years ago now.
Right.
So it's like we have to get past not only we have to get past the reason why that war even started in the first place,
right?
So that we can know how to rebuild the world into something better than what it was left with after.
But the thing about that is that does involve actually acknowledging the full story of that situation. It's literally like even someone with Ben Shapiro acknowledging every detail as to what happened in the Holocaust, for example, because he's a Jew and he supports Israel and he's all about protecting the Jews and being. He's kind of inconsistent because he's
very inconsistent.
He's supposedly for America, but he's also kind of blindly supporting Israel. But that's a whole different conversation, though. So it's like we need to go into the full extent as to what the government and even people within the culture did to Black Americans, for example, to acknowledge what happened to them. And that goes back into the argument that I said before about certain policies can definitely have long-term effects within a certain community. It may not have been a policy that was directly targeting this current generation, but the generational experiences based on the laws have long-lasting effects. For example, if you have a grandfather or even a father that was arrested, you're 4 times more likely to be in poverty. That's a statistical fact, and so that travels. If your father went to jail when he was 20 or whatever it is, and then had you 5 years later, whatever it is, that's gonna have a lasting impact on you. So it actually does travel. So the question is, and if he was arrested based on, let's say, unjustifiable prejudicial based laws like marijuana charges or whatever it is, it can still have an effect on you. Even if it is a misdemeanor, it carries and it travels because it can be discriminating from housing, it can be discriminating from job opportunities or some shit like that. So it does have long-term effects. But the only thing that what I see in America is that if it affects us, Black and brown people, they don't seem to care. If historical,
because they be acting like they're the only ones who live in this country. But if you were to add up all the people who ain't white versus all the people who are white in this country, you're outnumbered
significantly.
David,
you do realize, just a random fun fact, David, you do realize that white people in general as a population are a significant minority compared to Black and brown people all over the world.
I know, absolutely.
According to statistics,
word is bond. I read it. I read a study. I don't know why I'm looking at my thing like this is a watch, but I read a study that that by 2035, I think they said 2035,
2045.
2045?
Yeah.
How you know what study I'm about to say?
I know where you're going with this, Davian. White people are going to be the minority in America. I know.
Well, they're going to be a minority in America, and they're going to lose to Hispanics.
Yeah, David.
This is about to be Los Estados Unidos.
David. No, I'm fully aware of that study, and that's just David. That's why they started with the whole Trump thing back when they did, because that kind of transition is a 20-year transition. So it does take time. So they have to stop it when it. They have to start it.
I get it.
20 years.
Oh no, we halfway to Los Estados Unidos.
Why
Why
do you think when Trump lost
the America?
Why do you think when Trump lost the 2020 election, they basically tried to overthrow the government? Because that was the start of the beginning phases of making sure white people don't become a minority. That's what they're afraid of. Because the thing about it, Davian, is that they spent most of their history in America never being marginalized. They've always been on top. So that possibility of being on an equal level playing field with other minorities, it's terrifying to them.
Okay.
Think about it, David. If you've been in charge of something for 30 years and you're getting older, it's time to retire, you're going to almost instantly feel some kind of anxiety from losing your top position, whether it's because you're getting old or because someone is beating you now because you're older.
What do you mean my top position, though?
Just being on top, controlling how the system works and shaping it for the benefit of a particular demographic or culture or religion or ethnicity. Think about it, David. For most of our history in the golden age of America back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s or whatever it was, we were more or less not officially a white majority sort of Christian identifying nation. We weren't legally identified like that, but that's what the norm was. That's now gone. The spread of Islam in America, the spread of minorities, the rise of Hispanics coming in, that terrifies them. That's what they're afraid of.
No, I get that.
They're just afraid of losing their ethnic position where they're still kind of controlling the majority of the power structures.
Well, you've already. I mean, they have too much money in infrastructures to be losing that. But at the same time, it's like it's like that's so grounded in like. In narcissism. The word I wanted to say was nationalism, but it wasn't nationalism. It was what do you call it? When you're taking other people's shit.
Appropriating?
No, not appropriation. Colonization.
Yeah. But that's you have to remember, David. Like for the most of their history.
No,
that's what they're used
to
doing.
I know.
So losing that position is obviously going to be very anxiety driven because think about it, Davian.
The truth got to come out sometime.
It's going to explode in their face at some point.
Most of your empires are built off of stealing.
Yeah, it's Davian.
You don't got shit in that museum that's yours.
It's going to explode, or at least not originally theirs. It's going to explode in their face at some point. But David, that's why they were so hell bent on making sure that Trump stayed in office in 2020, for example, because that's when the official timeline of making sure that they maintain top position starts. Because David, it takes about a couple of generations to actually have some kind of significant change. You know, since the 90s and even the early 2000s, that shift. Because here's a fun fact: during Obama's presidency, did you know that apparently there were more brown and black babies born than white babies, and that actually is what played a factor in obviously Obama's opposition from Congress and then everybody else, because minorities were actually getting a voice and they were actually getting recognized in this country after being marginalized for years. And even though white people still maintain the power structure, just the feeling of losing it is why they responded with so much backlash. Because now I'm kind of breaking it down from let's say an evolutionary animalistic perspective, where it's like you can think about it more of like an animal feels under threat because they're losing their territory or their sense of culture and identity because somebody else is coming into their tribe or into their backyard apparently. Sure. So once they see or they even feel a sense of that, they get aggressive and they get violently defensive.
Okay, well, I'm not scared or feeling the sense to back down from scaring white people.
David, I'm not talking about you.
No, I know. I'm trying to sum up the question because we've been on this topic for a long time.
Yeah.
And I want you to get to yours
bad.
as well. But I do have one question. Let me just make sure we're still rolling. Okay, yeah, we're still rolling. I wanted to ask one more little question, and then we'll get to your unpopular opinion. Do you think this orange ass head ass nigga is gonna get rid of the 2-term limit?
David, I don't know, but I'm telling you right now, Davian, something in my gut is telling me. I mean, I don't even need to even say this.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, Davian, unless he is physically thrown out, Davian, he's not leaving. Mark my words. There is no way on God's green earth that he realistically is going to leave office voluntarily.
Even if I thought that he was going to, if he could possibly get rid of the opportunity to clear the 2-term limit and wanted to run again for a 3rd term, I don't think he would win.
Yeah, and that's fair, and I think that's because there is backlash against him. Mm-hmm. But that's where I'm arguing. Where it doesn't even matter if he removes the 22nd Amendment. It's more the fact of like, even if he actually does. So let's say he removes the 22nd Amendment, right? Mm-hmm. And he's now eligible, like fucking FDR, to run for a 3rd term or serve a 3rd term, right? And let's say he actually tries to run for a 3rd term, and let's say he genuinely loses. He's probably still not going to leave. That's all I care about. So even if that sense of entitlement, even if they abolish the 22nd Amendment correctly and they actually follow the Constitution, and he's eligible to run for a 3rd term, he probably still is not going to leave unless he's physically thrown out.
I'm calling Obama. Obama kick his ass out. Obama kick his ass out. Promise you that. So throw his ass out on the front porch like Jazzy Jeff.
That's what I think. And what's scary to me, like this is actually, I'm going to add on to this as well. This also shows the hypocrisy and inconsistency of conservatives that claim to love the Constitution. Because at the same time, do you remember when Obama was leaving office and we were all screaming 4 more years, but he abided by the Constitution and actually left? So you're okay with that, but when it's your tribe, your leader, your people, oh no, he can stay because he's draining the swamp, he's doing this, doing that, he's making America great, doing whatever other bullshit, so he can stay. And what I'm more nervous about, Davian, is I'm nervous about conservative anarchy or some bullshit like that, where they end up some nutcase voters of his might actually protect him from leaving office. Mark my words, Davian.
Randall, listen.
America might potentially look like the fucking movie you took me to go see last year's Civil War. There's a real possibility that might happen.
Listen,
I'm sorry.
Listen, this wouldn't be the first time the White House burned down. This wouldn't be the first time the White House burned down.
But yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. I'm really
Y'all
afraid
of stay in there? All right, we're going to burn this down.
I'm afraid
we'll build a new one.
I'm genuinely afraid of the possibility of an actual, like, conservative foreign militia where they will actually protect him from leaving.
We will burn that bitch down and rebuild off the ashes.
Well, be careful, Davian. Like, we're on camera here, okay?
We're not burning nothing down.
Okay.
You don't even know what building we're talking about. Either way, all right. So now I want to open the floor to you to give your most controversial opinion.
My most controversial opinion is an opinion that I will live and die by, and I don't care what anybody says. Pussy got a price tag. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says. At some point in time, men are going to have to realize that whether you want to believe it or not, there will always come a price when it comes to sexual access from a woman. I don't care what anyone says. Whether it's promising long-term commitment, whether it is literally giving her $500 to clap cheeks, whatever, I don't care. That's my controversial take. I can get into that once you respond to that.
No, I have no words. I don't like this. I don't like this argument.
Well, you're gonna deal with it.
I don't like this argument. We could go back and forth all day. Not that I don't agree with this statement. But what I do believe is that it speaks more than one language of value.
Yeah,
it definitely speaks more than one language of value. But money is the most responsive.
So you know what? Let me make this a little bit like less like.
Money is the most responsive.
Let me make it a little less.
Well, money can be the most responsive in today's age, but it's really security.
Well, yeah, that's
security
true,
is the most responsive
piece
of value.
It's not really just based about that. Because number one, I'm not really a fan of that either. I'm not trying to like push the idea that like as a man you need to make 6 figures a year. You have to spend $10,000 on a bitch or some shit like that. I'm not advocating for any of those things.
This is why girls like Lotto make songs like Brokey.
Right, but that's also because of social media and the social conditioning of women thinking that money correlates with love. And I can get into a deeper conversation about that, but I'll just keep it on the surface level. When I talk about it has a price tag on it, I'm referring to things that are not just monetary. Because the thing is,
it's an investment.
Yeah,
Definitely investing in it.
If you dig deeper into human evolutionary history as to like human mating in general, there's always been some kind of a courtship process that's been oriented by males for the most part. When it comes to peacock males displaying their feathers, when it comes to male lions fighting and demonstrating their physical strength, potentially killing each other or something like that.
Walruses do the same shit.
Exactly, and
big ass tusk.
And then also even like birds that perform dances, or even birds that build a nest for the female's approval.
You ever seen the spiders doing the dance and shit?
Yeah, exactly. or even spiders. There's a spider species. There's a book that I read a while back ago that was talking about a spider species. I forget where it's from, but it actually has to kill a prey, or at least capture it, and then give it to the female so she can eat it, and then reproduce with him. But here's what they found in the study. So these researchers apparently got close enough to study these spiders, where apparently they found out that female spiders sometimes dine and dash on their male quarters, where the males had to adapt. And what they did was they would kill the prey and they would wrap it in their spider silk and they would give it to the female. The female would eat it, and then the male would impregnate her from the back.
So like distraction.
It's distraction, but if you really think about it, like that's actually kind of rape. Like, you're giving food to a female, she's eating it, and while she's eating, you're reproducing it, you're inseminating her. That's basically assault. You think about it from a human perspective.
I've been putting this on YouTube. I gotta remember I may have to bleep some of these words.
Yeah.
Because now they're. I was just having this conversation with my brother the other day about trigger words on either videos that are on social media or like on the radio.
Well, this is
you
also
can't say certain stuff because it'll get demonetized or something like that.
Well, we're not monetized yet. So.
No, I know, I get it, but it's still the same way. But like I was listening to this story today about this shooting that happened in Manhattan or whatever. And then they described the situation afterwards as the guy unalived himself.
Right. Which, quite frankly, I'm kind of sick of, because that to me sounds so stupid. And
and
it really does sound like something that children say. Like, dude, we're adults. Like,
no,
come on,
grow
the fuck up.
Having to censor your words because of trigger warnings or whatever the case is really frustrating. Like, I don't know who this is necessarily tailoring to.
It's protecting sensitive Americans that are bothered by pretty much any word.
I don't get it. It's a censorship. It's a censorship of speech for the one thing, and then the second part of it is like it's enabling people to say other things that they wouldn't normally say.
Right.
Like, for instance, you go on social media and you see a post where somebody's throwing in that ninja emoji. Ever see somebody put something my ninjas?
Let me guess.
With the ninjas.
Oh, okay.
With the ninja emoji, right?
I was about to say that.
With the ninja emoji, right?
I got
now, the association, obviously, that you're saying the N-word, right? Whatever.
Right.
But you're giving the connotation to everybody to freely use this ninja emoji in substitute for the word, which is giving them the opportunity to say it.
Now that I've actually thought about it, David, I've actually seen why people use that. I'll keep it real with you. I've actually seen that.
You feel me, bro?
Yeah.
Like that's
part of the problem.
You're leaving the door cracked open a little bit for people to
these trolls to come in,
for people to see how much they can get away with. Pretty much.
Right. Okay, so going back to what we were talking about before with my opinion. So like one of the prime examples that I like doing with guys were like one of my friends was very cynical about this, advocating this idea that like, well, if I'm paying and providing and doing all these different things, like what is she doing for me? And that's a fair argument. It's a fair argument. It's a fair question. But at the same time, that's where you're treating it almost purely transactional as opposed to like something else, because it doesn't necessarily have to be something of extreme monetary value. Like negotiating, for example, who does the dishes in the house shouldn't be based on like, oh, I'm bringing money in and I'm paying for things. You wash dishes, you do this sort of thing. I don't really believe in that either. So like, for example, one of the arguments that he raised to me, where it's like, well, if women are so, strong and independent and they're boss babes, why don't they take a man out on a date? Why don't they say, hey, I like you, let's go on a date. Let's, I'll pay for dinner and then we can go have sex or whatever it is, right? I raised the argument where it's like, okay, you're not entirely wrong about that, but at the same time, there is something, and I think this is true cross-culturally, of a grown-ass man, and also just on a side note, women typically, when they want to date or find male partners, they usually date 4 to 5 years older than them on average. So I gave him this analogy. Is it respectable for a 35-year-old man who's dating a woman who's 30, or even let's go down a couple more years. Let's say she's 27 or 28 or whatever it is, and she agrees to go on a date with him, and then they go on the date. She not only goes on a date with him, but she drives him in her car. They go on the date, they have dinner, she pays for the date, and then he's saying, okay, now that you picked me up, you took me on the date, quite frankly, where's your purse at, nigga? And then lastly, so after she did all those different things, paid for the date, picked you up, and then brought you back to either her place or your place, you think it's okay for her to say, after doing all of this work for you, I'm going to lay in bed, open my legs up, and let you fuck me? In my whole question is, what did you do as a man to really deserve that kind of access? Because to me, that just sounds like a mom you want to have sex with. You know what I'm saying? That's why I argue the idea that, like, yes, on dates, it is respectable for the man to actually pay for something. Because quite frankly, it's like, if you want sex, it's the sexual access is not like a two-way street. It's not symmetrical. One person's getting fucked and the other person's doing the fucking. So like, if you're the one doing the fucking and someone is physically...
Yeah, but that doesn't guarantee, if a man was in that same position, that he's guaranteed to fuck either.
No, yes, and that's the conundrum, and that really is the problem, where guys are like, well, if I pay for dinner, but there's no guarantee that I'm getting sex out of it, then why am I even going to bother? That's the problem. No.
That's a big ass problem.
That's the problem. But that's why that's why I told the unbearable truth about it is, for guys, yes, dating and sexual selection is kind of a gamble. It really is kind of like a hit or a miss for us. There really is no guarantee of it, because at the end of the day, you could take a woman out on a date. If she doesn't feel a certain way about you, imagine you take her to fucking Wolfgang Steakhouse. You pay $200 for the date or some shit like that. But let's say, for example, on an emotional, interpersonal level, she's like, ew, like, this guy's either creepy, he's weird, he's arrogant, or some shit like that. And then she says, like, you know, I'm sorry, but like, I don't feel connected to you. I feel like this date didn't go anywhere. I appreciate you spending $200 on me, but at the same time, like you spending $200 on me is not necessarily guaranteeing you sex. Which goes back to my argument about, like, if you want a guarantee that if I give you a certain amount of money or spend a certain amount of money on you, I'm guaranteed cheeks. Go to a prostitute, bro.
Yeah.
Go to a strip club.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely the only way.
Because at that point, you're going to have to show more value of yourself than just your wallet. Exactly
my point. That's the argument I raised. If you seriously just want to be guaranteed sex by paying for something for a woman, go to a prostitute. Do not go to a regular woman in the street, at the gym, at the library, at wherever, at work.
That approach is going to work.
And think that, oh, if I take you to Wolfgang Steakhouse and I pay for dinner, I'm guaranteed cheeks tonight. No, it doesn't work like that. So like, stop complaining. And that's why I tell men, like, the really cold truth is that when you take a woman on a date, it really is kind of a gamble. I've been there myself. I took a woman out on dates and I didn't get pussy from it. I just told you, we're waiting for food. I took a girl out to dinner at Cheesecake Factory, or lunch at Cheesecake Factory. I spent $90. And then she goes into the mall to Sephora and Victoria's Secret and spends $550 on makeup, scented lotion, and fucking like 3 pairs of panties or some shit like that, right? So she did all of that. Like, I spent $90. I didn't get anything out of it. I wasn't mad. I wasn't bitter. I enjoyed her company. So, like, you know what I mean? If I wanted to be guaranteed sex, I would just go to a prostitute and say, hey, here's the money. That's it. Clap them cheeks, whatever it is. So that's why I just tell men, like, just take it's a loss. Take it on the chin, and you just have to kind of deal with it. I know it's frustrating, but that's just how it is. It's the same thing with marriage. Marriage is like this.
But that's the problem. I don't think men are doing more to flesh themselves out as characters, rather than just trying to satiate their
sexual
urges. Yeah. In fact, there's a gooning epidemic in this motherfucker.
But yeah, so like, that's what I said before too, and even like, and that's why I always say that, like, because like, I do believe, whether it's controversial or not, I know women empowerment and boss babe is a thing, and it's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with a woman working, having a career, but I do believe that there is something unrespectable about a grown man looking for a woman who's probably younger than him to pay for everything in the relationship and in the house. To me, that's just a mom.
Yeah, you know what I mean? No, that's a mama. I would only look for something like that in a sugar mama.
Yeah, that's
an old lady who don't got shit going on, who just wants some company and some black dick or something. Like, word bond.
Yeah, that's
sugar mamas. If y'all out there.
Yeah, I just don't find that respectable for the most part. And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to say, like, no, you can't pay for things. You can't do things like that. I'm not trying to say it like that. To me, it's like, if for example, like, you took me, like, a woman took me out on a date, right? And then she paid for the food and then took me back to her place and gave me sex. Yes, I would still, like, the back of my mind would appreciate it. But at the same time, I would say to myself, like,
that shit was,
I didn't really earn this.
Yeah, no, that shit was a little too easy.
It was a little too easy. And like, yes, I can understand that you wanted to do it and that's your choice. But at the same time, I don't feel like I did something to really deserve what I got from you. I appreciate the moment and the experience, but like at the same time, I feel like I should do something for you. Because at the end of the day, it's your body that I want access to. So at the same time, it's like, why would I not, like, you know, put food in your stomach and then be able to say, like, you know what I'm saying?
I was having a certain conversation with Yana earlier, and we were talking about, she asked me, she was like, what is going to, she's like, is what's gonna make a man want to like, I guess, step into that position of wanting to, like, protect you and, like, care for you and stuff like that. And I was like, well, it ain't just good coochie. It ain't just good coochie, you know. That might make him want the coochie, but that would be his only investment. And then he would just want that return from that investment whenever he would ask for it. But what would make him want to secure you and keep you safe and want to protect and provide for you would be the return investment that he gets in everything else. So it'd be the support system, like comfort, the support system, the emotional safety, the amount he's able to be vulnerable in you, the security he's going to have there, the possibility of having a family, a strong family structure. Knowing someone's gonna have his back and support him.
Davian, like you know what I think that can be summed up to in one sentence? I think realistically, it's like when men are displaying their strength in a relationship, whether it's being the provider or the protector. I think that's just common sense. But I think that
I was saying that it's sort of like an inner nature of a man to do that.
Yeah,
but it's like there's a little bit more.
I do think what men really want from a woman is the ability to, let's say, shed our armor and be vulnerable without being judged or being ridiculed for being vulnerable, because we're not invulnerable, we're not infallible. Because the
world doesn't give us that kind of access to that
to actually do that. If a man actually does shed a tear, a lot of times, like, it's a turn off. But here's actually the interesting about as to why that is. This goes back into our evolutionary history, which still shapes our behavior today. So back when we were living in caves in the savannas of Africa, surviving and whatever it is, we couldn't afford to be weak and defenseless. So we had to suppress certain fears and vulnerability because something was trying to kill us and eat us every single day. So believe it or not, women actually played a factor in reproducing the type of aggressive, like, hyper masculine, sort of like strong, like, never crying protector provider males, because of the environment we evolved in. So it's like, we're gonna die. I need a strong, capable man that will protect me, protect the family, that will provide, that will go out hunting, that won't complain, that won't be vulnerable, that won't be weak. Because in that kind of environment 50,000 years ago, if you were weak, you got eaten by something. So women chose the most aggressive, strong, alpha male sort of guys, reproduced with them, because
I'm starting not to like that term of alpha male. Because there's so many other letters of the Greek alphabet that mean so many more interesting things than a fucking alpha. Shut the hell up.
Well, believe it or not, alphas, like if you want to go into, like, what it means to be an alpha within fucking primates like us, it's actually a much deeper conversation that I'll get into on a different podcast. But it's a term that's been weaponized, and most people that are using it don't even really know what it means. It's just a form of, like, status.
You just think you know the alphabet because you know A and B, alpha and beta. You think everything. You think we're just sitting on two opposites. Like, there's not the rest of the freaking alphabet in this bitch.
Yeah,
bitch, I'll be a fucking W. How about that?
So yeah, like, so for me, like, that's why I kind of like say my controversial take that, like, yeah, like, pussy has a price tag on it, bro. Whether it's long-term commitment, which means the price is you have to sacrifice other women that might want you. That's a sacrifice, and that's a price you have to pay for it. Or literally, the price could be like, yo, you want to fuck, but you don't want commitment. $500. And in all fairness, this might be a very controversial and even like beta sounding like argument. At the end of the day, bro, like someone has to explain to me on a logical standpoint, not on an emotional reactive standpoint, what is wrong with two consenting adults agreeing to have a sexual interaction that's based on money. So like imagine a woman agrees to have sex with you for $500, whatever it is, and you give her money and she can use that to feed her kid, to pay for groceries, to pay for her bills. Someone has to explain to me logically why that's wrong. Emotionally and morally, we might think it's disgusting or wrong. But the funny thing is, that's kind of what a provider is for a man. When you have a wife, you provide, which means partly giving her money and giving her food and resources so she can take care of herself and the children and yourself as well. So realistically, you're not against men paying for things and paying for women. You're just against men paying for women in the wrong context.
Yeah, the government doesn't like soliciting. If they can't make $1 off of your dollar, then they don't want you to do it.
And on that note, I think we called it a wrap.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up for this week. Getting a little dark. But you know what the fuck is going on? It's Unpopular.
That was a great
podcast. The
podcast.
cameraman. Got my boy right now. We'll see y'all next time.